Yano Gabi Ocheda Semka home. Back to the issue of Galamsey and complicity of officials. Yenjintum. Yenshishim. Kwesi Pratt will hire Shanim Senana Kumia Babakaya home. In the meantime, while we drink church is saying between a phrase 0302 257 900 and now 257 901. Friend, not sure what drink our numbers is 0302 257 900 and also 257 901. In the meantime, give your eyes the best attention and care it deserves. Don't play with your eyes. Check out Robert & Sons Optical. You find Robert & Sons at Adenta, Wager at Dabraka, Osudankwa Circle, Tema, East Legon, Kumasi, and the ultra modern Kofodia branch. Comprehensive eye care, 100% original and unbeatable products. State-of-the-art optical coherence tomography testing service. That's right. Robert & Sons Optical provides service to members under the major private insurance schemes such as Bupa, MetLife, United Healthcare, and so many more. Call Robert & Sons today on 050-151-9111. That is 050-151-9111 or 020-372-8545. You can check out the online shop as well of Robert & Sons, and that is robertandsonsoptical.com, and both on Facebook, Instagram. Otaki and Ambebu, 16 minutes past 9, Peace 104.3. It's a Tuesday morning, April 25. Kwesi Pratt Jr. Ewaha. Kwesi Mwachano pay?
Yes, sir.
Boko dear. Yes, Kwesi. Say Biami Dianya Boko, Tina maybe say, oh dear Bokoana.
No difference.
That I could be a Mwachio.
Kwabi Sefa Kain.
Yes, Nana Akomia.
Mejo Sopa.
Apom.
Apom ye pa medase.
Odi eboko.
Nyankopo Daroma. Kwabi.
Yeah, then I'm yasi.
And 3 years.
Ah, so also Yanko Pada Roma.
Adewo Nyankopon Tawachi. Oh, on Tawachi. Otawachi dia be unsro bibia.
No shake.
Kwezi. And I wash a black t-shirt to unsro bibi.
Black and white.
What's that? BB Black.
We share fatigue the day who pa. Maybe I share can be sorry for studio.
Ne militant no. One pa.
Come here who?
I know what you on the shirt. Oh, but that's a nice shirt. Unapologetically black.
Yes.
That's Jack Toronto. Kwesi, what should they work at any bimone? Na, I may say utu yefo. Na me ni hamum na na akese ne wa ha. Ba de futu bi bai. Efa Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng nsemo atro. And over the weekend, through ABC, a topical issue of Baby Bebre. Osha Daily Guide, or say Frimpong Boateng's report personal grievances presidency. Just presidency, I respond to. And here Daily Guide, Osha find that Prim Park BOG Media Workshop didn't discuss Frimpong Boateng. Chronicle, the leaked Galamsey report upon Nkrumah Ross says Frimpong Boateng shifting the goalpost as a heart surgeon fires another salvo. Osha, the Daily Statesman, Frimpong Boateng fails to back claims against Info Minister. Osha New Crusading Guide, Frimpong Boateng shifts goalpost on upon Nkrumah allegation. Osha Daily Post, Professor Frimpong Boateng says Gabi got arrested Chinese Galamseyers to be freed. Osha The Anchor, wounded Frimpong Boateng strikes again, but fails to mention son's involvement in Galamsey menace. Kwesi Sadi Edia Kwahini. Where is this heading?
Master Kwame.
Brother Kwesi.
Asoma me kan no na da hoyo. Asese no me hu say. I say a Flagstaff House.
Jubilee House.
Flagstaff House.
Jubilee House.
Flagstaff House.
The seat of the presidency officially Jubilee House.
Flagstaff House.
Well, that is you. Unfortunately, you are wrong. But Twaso.
You. But you're also not right.
Oh, Kwesi. Officially, seat of presidency Jubilee House. This is back and forth and back and forth. Anyway, young Queen.
Anyway. But Bram say Flagstaff House for Akacha police force said Omunfre Professor Frimpong Boateng no munti na no munsam. And I'm say, hey, I dare ba na be hu. I say be hu pa. Ukraine I dare na ye hu. Obi e candidate. Wuti tinsema yempanifo kan ya bebre wo ho a insiso. Wuti insiso. Eda ne fie da namba ha. Ena me kase nkofo bebre kase yenua e Gabi otre da ko. O wasema eso yi anopa. Na sema eso yi anopa ni se ofre eye Professor Frimpong Boateng ebisa nsam efa omo ye Galamsey yibia oso omo ye ne clients ze omo ye
One am lawyer.
If you don't na me bisa nti se ebisa some command lawyer na lawyer no efre ebisa mo eti amra na me hu se eti amra na eno na me ka se bia na Professor Frimpong Boateng na sembi wo ho pese o kan untuminka kakrakra no head the post anymore. Professor Frimpong Boateng says Gabi got arrested Chinese Galamseyers to be freed. And some no say e kukuru bad. Ayi wo hwe ayi daily ayi a friend is saying daily post here so mo quotation marks work diligently and avoid the quoted and evil tactics. Professor Frimpong Boateng advises upon Nkrumah. So the Bia Befebia Neshao. Wounded Frimpong Boateng strikes again, but fails to mention son's involvement in Galamsey menace. And also that Biara Maza. Frimpong report, personal grievances, presidency, Neko Kosusa. Pepe Bia Befebia Maza. Na anopei Miria Hokaka, Kwame. Miria Hopa. Anopei Omampenia Share.
Yeah.
Omwa Trotron Sambi de Betuja. Na Nukreni. Oman Kasakura Keye.
Are they?
Because someone more trade there Betuja. Say a Kenyan Bibia, a say Bibia. Kwame Dikan. Omampenia Share and Omukasa Pussy for Hushen Yantisa Pussy for Hushen Sam no more.
There
Yantishi is supposed for Hushen Sam Navy. Na say Omampenia Share no nim say. Nya opening Frimpong Professor Frimpong Boating Kanina a catalog of grievances and hearsay. Why did they refer it to the police? One more back conclusion. Master, one more dear to say, some a baby, as well, there are more police.
Is it not because of allegations or yeah?
No allegations, now, most allegations, a catalog of grievances and hearsay. It's a good police force woman. More concluded, more blue for, more you as more the more police force woman. After this statement, no, how do we expect the police to say one more the proper report, any fair report we have ever? When the presidency has already decided, say it's a catalog of grievances and hearsay. No, hamikakra. Na Kwame, baby, so hamikakra pa ni say.
Yes.
Statement nefi Omampenia so by. Also, no cre Professor Frimpong Boating the Kratebi report no my chief of staff. Then what my chief of staff, woman nya ho hwe masa. Woman nya ho hwe since
2021.
2021, 2 years ago. Woman nya ho hwe, obu nsa kan report no there. Or the my chief of staff, no more Yahushri because he didn't have a covering letter. Hey, Kwame,
Crazy.
na same way the Efriva reported to say, Echo a buying of Mampenia Shea near the Atuho. It's answer a me covering letter. Means you, my dream one means you. No more can say poke kepoa, kebia kebefa no sa. Obviously, or the command chief of staff there, nanso nya ho dan kese eko. Na fakwa kese eko ni say, kese eko secretary to the cabinet ho, and I say co president ho directly. Kwame.
Crazy.
Yeah, can say ya ban no. So bibi letter covering letter ndaso. Nasa anko secretary to the cabinet and I anko man penny why you would mean. Masa, why in the trust statement we? Why? And I was saying to Tianica. Now, as some way back, near soon Koyano, which we trust our statement we. Mammy can't crunch. Also, the attention of the office of the president has been drawn to a publication in the media ostensibly quoting from a document authored by the former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation and chairperson of the erstwhile Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boating, which allegedly imputes wrongdoing on the part of some government appointees in the fight against galamsey. At the onset, it must be pointed out the document being discussed was not an official report. Was not an official report formally delivered to the office of the president. On the contrary, it can only be rightly referred to as a catalog of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Frimpong Boating intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCI. The document was handed over to the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President on March 19, 2021, in an informal meeting where Professor Frimpong Boating complained about public attacks and criticisms made about his tenure as chairperson of the IMCI. Kwame.
Crazy.
Now what's it for?
Chechem.
Because if you are better say na me dey mean say say minister ekukuru report and the command chief of staff or the share chief of staff in and some of women nyansam ketwa or the command chief of staff abra ye man pani ankasa sinibu akase say na dwuma begu kura se beji na dwuma na free some kra because say okugaram say kra he was ready to do that. This is the response from the presidency. Me ferry
Ade.
Masa, maniewu poto. Hey. Kwame, mini bibia kabi. This is the response from the presidency.
What were you expecting?
Oh, Masa, what I was expecting, no? And he said, presidency nankasa, and I kasa, and someone, Professor Pimpon Boatin can, the mood. It is Ankebeya, police for SCID, Criminal Investigations Department, and she film for reporting. You know, I say you're trying police for the report. Now, based on your police for the police for the say evidence for more and I say evidence in you. Police for the say some no crave more and I say no crave you. Police for the nobody report about. It's trying to police for reporting. Now when they tell the police inquiry, they are useless. You're saying after this statement, after this statement, police in the organ how better report to be at the end of the asa at the end of
what a police for at the report about now are contrary to it. When you need a police for between independent work. Oh, may I say, Bisa?
Na me de asema bisa me made na you wan.
Esa ko say asem egu?
Egu, asem na egu. It will take a miracle. It will take a miracle. Na me a police officer craft at this one make I say I said the mob boy we yen fan ko. Police ni no no fan ni mu kwaje. What a statement. Allah braka. Masa me ni bibia kabi.
Alabraka mini bibia kabio kwesi prat ena yeteninka 1043. Here's one from Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. Chairman General, it is very interesting. All the presidential staffers are denying their involvement in the Galamsey menace. Did we expect anything different? How on earth would a good professor just take pen and paper and mention names when he has no evidence? Between the professor and the staffers, the good people of Ghana can decipher who is being economical with the truth. It is, however, terrible and amazing that the presidency once again seeks to exonerate its appointees from any wrongdoing even before an investigation is conducted. So why the need to rope in the CID if that is the position of the government? Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. Nana Kumia Pacho Brimbi.
Kwabe.
Yes, Nana.
Me that's it.
Yes, sir.
Sir, same way, Kwabe. Mami shasi free baby minua kwesi prate wie kwesi say letter na a free Jubilee House no asem wom say kwan a letter no atro say kwan o matro letter no
Yeah.
na akoye say Jubilee House Oma pass a judgment.
Oma bu asem no credit.
Oma bu asem no. Oma bu asem no efa Prof Boatin a report no. Te ba no sa na o kan se police for nko hwehwe mu a na obema police for no so no adwumadwuma no ayedin.
Yeah.
Enti ekwan bi so no me for kwesi practice so. Because asem no o kan letter na free Jubilee na o say omo say ye bibia tesem ni nsembia dance die nka ho na be no ankasa ni personal grievances na che say mo judge asem no that na fe o refer ma police So ntinka media nka nanka me pese na senka letter no and a reaction from Jubilee no na senka ye neutral kakra so your mouth and some way prof tron by a check na say no asan ba be daddy ntinu Jubilee pese ehwehwem na ehu no kware ewo ntom de ama police bibisa would have been fair but ohwe ekwanya omo fa so tro ya that is a my judgment did that na me fa point no so no say Professor Boatin tro ne report na ekwanya ofa so no e de report no called Jubilee say nya kwan papa so a say ran so ma omayi na so say na kan omayi na so say prof sa we reporting chi so the fa kwan way so na Jubilee team di ho djuma ti ko mu yi na so a ke bianka prof be ni sa
omu yi na su tre a
na ya twen ama efie mienu aba betwa mi na afi ye kan se wan fa kwan papa so no eno so eminya kakra but many a just say Jubilee say ye hwehwe asem no omo de say CID police CID nhwem sene ya kan already no as a Jubilee na warfe asem no but yan fan po say be anya judgment be a Jubilee view
yes
Bema police for na juma na ye but ya me ware hwemu say Ghana police enne under the leadership of Yera IGP despite tone of the letter from Jubilee no police for be ye omejuma ye na omaye hwehwemu na no kware bia e was asemi omatimi ama Ghana for ati sa hwehwemu na ehu hia pa kwame if say enema ba kumienu enipa na sa asemi form hu yi omunye nipa nketo awo ye mamu ha
David
ana le tosu mienu asem na efa ho no galamsey yenya yewura president wa kan say ordinary presidency no se galamsey pona so be lose ni presidency a emba ne sa kwam so yenya yatisa so put ni presidency on the line na je so ba be kwetia galamsey se nunti nu na se enipa ni bi nto aba ma no be lose kra anya hwe enti nema mienu we enipa eye involved in sasemi any asem na nkasa ye galamsey e che se esese ye hwehwem pa na yenya ye boa police fo no munya kokudro ni ahode no de hwehwe sasemi yenya ye hu ni kware a ewo kwame uti asem na Professor Boati
yes
ono na president no president de ko bi si ho friend no interministerial committee na che say cabinet ministers and a president de si ho say omo ode adwuma no to stop galamsey no ode show monsem and a Professor Boati na chairman and now you can say as of 2021 Prof in some or not wrong was edge money addition in some ni been said or same penyimfo bi wo memu ha e bi wo Jubilee House nankasa office of the president e bi wo aban mu e bi e wo parliament e bi wo NPP party even ministerial team no kra ye omo kan ne hu na omo judgment kra wa accuse you say nipa nya ekutia adwuma no either so omo sheda omo wo galamsey no bi anase omo kutia adwuma no now under any circumstance this is a very serious allegation
extremely
very serious accusation say committee na president epesi hono the chairman of sa committee no is making these accusations. Well, and Wabobodin. The ministerial committee na nkasa they say ejuma no mu ja ejuma ni nyama na je so mo so no omamboa ejuma na president the share committee ni sa omamboa omu ja ejuma no esi ono nko ane so only 2 be no say omukai sanitation minister and them say local government minister. It's not just about 6 na aka no omamboa ejuma no according to the chairman of the committee. Or says senior minister and so ni yoebi or yeah a kutia a Jumana president per se omoyed. Wabo senior minister Dean, Wabo information minister Dean, ye nyo trade ako, Wabo ni Dean, the head of the president's security, and also Professor Boatin Hakizuno. Presidential staffers be back mienu bi e wo Jubilee. Nya ya accuse you. Have said back office of the chief of staff. Back of president Nankasa office. Nya wa accuse you.
Lord Comey, Charles Nite Kutego and Protozoa.
Yeah. Well. Inti enipa no mo ya involved no nya Kwame sabi nipa nketwa. So these are people at the highest level of government. Office of the President, Office of the Chief of Staff, Parliament, Presidential Security, Senior... Enya nipa ketwa. Na this ubo ebo bob nipa iwa report ibe daddy. Nipa ni binsu eyano. Ohwe ye nwa otreda akuse ya. Also oni de no kaya ne say mining company no baako prof committee no called Brown se mamo nya mining bi no na ye ono ochredako no client or a lawyer enti ni client no e be try ni say o yekuta yen license nya nanso committee no abraye amama be CZ ye machines enti no as lawyer no so age adwuma no ofre prof say o prof company there I'm my clients na I'm do my license nya ba be kire I say license ne fin bia enihu tina pese me ti ase ne ntia mo abra no enti so tise prof ka say ono esan so friend no ne din komonti no na che ono ochida konso ebo agalam say ono ochida go so ntia ase na wo hwe se na asem no se na ochida control na ohia because entiase enim say na say lawyer na asem bi fa ne client hu no afre so openchiri mu send de nka so utimika so no so bo agalam say nanso kocho pon kruma so information means also dia nuye aba ono no prof Boatin say nema miensa so koye meeting bi ododo wa on nsem tronfo bi sene beya omo be tron sema ebe ma prof abamu ebu e wo dodo wa na toso mienu I say omo call cabinet one day bi na information minister a report no or can say galansen and 70 excavators by 500 at Iran a dimo akutini wo media no which is a normal reporter information minister obey who brief government na ekoso wo ni e kafa ban ho e wo papers mu na wo a radio TV e wo juma indi say galam saying 70 excavators edimu akotini as a information minister wutimi a report was so prophecy okoye sa report na chese ono so no onfoa prophet juma no so oka ba ko kan kojo pondian refi last one na okaye
se memo ma onhwe na juma so nye memo ma ai adwinbonimba no anase oka say you two galamsey on the constituency no
there be any muai no but the charges against Opon Kuma na 3 well I say cabinet assembly no and journalists also them call Dodowa. And also say against information minister. Need presidential staffers need TECO or your friend who say prophecy need TECO friend and say excavator be yenja excavator. Lord Cummings so presidential security omunya get charges against them. MPB are not so a deputy minister. See also concessions be are not tonton. Yeah, they galam say or Jimuska. I said I'm 200,000 citizens a day. Nipani be a yano, maka a Otreda Condiano.
Gabi yano, Kojo Ponkruma, a yano, Nate Kotego yano, Lord Come yano, MP no a yano.
Kojo Ponce, uni a dream bonibia against the prof. Dodo wa meeting na or say prophecy Kojo Ponde a journalist got now. I say yes, I no cry a Bank of Ghana for any newspaper publishers and no more year workshop on financial reporting. And I'm invite you or no as Minister for Information. Indeed, in some fact galam say who for prof am bemukra anti I don't want say prof beka say or no na access journalist akotna baby. Now say even possess say prof I any be non prof who when they no say or instigating media against prof. Or best say NPP journalists any NDs at the kotna dodoa. Well, and cabinet deans also in a jumano near my coso a demo continue papers more radio so TV. So to me my bind. Tionya bonibia. Need take also at the Abasanamike. Na Kwame Prof ye biano. Otreda Condiano, Gabi. And then na Prof I can't cry and more serious chain first one. First one there's also Gabi friend who say gossip well say Gabi interfere Jumana Prof committee ne you know. Gabi see because phone call Nipano company now work for me clients. Prof year no also Debbie na mum Otreda kun Emma yetimi police force soldier for China phobia ya chiom so mo ya galam say Otreda kun ye yomu ejao. It's a very serious allegation. And an toss would be or 6 clients na Otreda kun si omo clients. Because of Otreda continue kofonu nya military protection. Emo can say sister media house multimedia kra ekoye ho reports editudwa na sa soldier for na no mo bo ho ban Otreda kon and ekwa very very serious allegation. Upon Kruma de enso no upon Kruma anu ye no yi no prof an ka ho asem akofa bibi foforo san bai say yeah galam say wo Kojo Pon say ni kromo say
or say constituency
na intira na Kojo Pon ntimi nkosto and also me person me pass judgment but me think kakra say na yeah galam say wo bi kroma na che say ono so ka ho bi but say na prof aka e bia na bibi foforo wo ho a prof on kentre Oma Kano as on share den year no, but me sure so be year no. Na Kwame.
Nana.
Even accusations in any response, any rebuttals, any counter accusation is serious. But na a massive year a who cried chamber behind say Professor Boatin Ankasa or a chairman. Onwe Munusuno. The secretary to the committee, Peace FM, your friend Charles Bisiu.
Yeah.
And also a secretary to the interministerial committee. And also accuse Professor Boatin. Well, of engaging in galamsey.
While accusing it directly or think of a ben. And because the prof himself is not clean.
Mame unim. Oni mu sister station. Wa unya kuma Nkrumah tikasi. Mame kanchero. Or say one. Prof himself was operating Galamsey.
Baby, I don't know.
That's the interview of the man Nkrumah tikasi. 2. I say Prof Boatin instructed say excavators are season yen fen command the banon fen ko Galamsey watakwa. This is the secretary to the committee. Say the chairman of the committee excavators ni bi omusa kan ye no o ma order say ye nkoyi en fen command the ba no so ye Galamsey watakwa.
Accusations and
3.
counter accusations.
Also CID4 invited Prof. On sa excavators. Prof anko. Also BNI for also invited Prof. So me ya no excavators and also Prof anko. Also BNI for don't call Prof office Prof Pamo. And also the other members of the interministerial committee now professor allocated excavators be more no some Galamsey. And also what dansidie any a proof. And more the bikra send the prof nankasa on the phone so. So inti Kwame.
No.
Asem na ehwenya. The chairman of the committee directly accuses people at the presidency, at Jubilee House, chief of staff, senior minister, presidential security, Peace FM, ministers of working against
the fight against Galamsey.
And on muna nkasa no so accusations. The secretary to the committee so accusing you directly. Someone was saying
yeah.
And untinu semno sena no untimi njai no saa.
Ntiwani engine indi.
That's it. Entina because untimi njai no saa. And unti hwehwemu hu hia. Ya me de say Jubilee presidency say police ID and shame. So they can statement na free Jubilee anka sa hwa na akoma police for no abamu ebu but ye ware shemu say IGP be shedding Crawford na was CID and be show mu crime ya hwehwem it's essential say be hwehwem for the people involved themselves say na be ankoye na prophecy way or a prophecy say na we see there be and a prophecy say now where's it there be near Janisa and no the nipa na a year involved more reputation and more reputation say who no carry a woman and the prof nanka so no chairman no answer yes these accusations or no mukra the secretary to the committee making accusations against him enti police for no more adwuma na enya yemfa yensho mun crime yemfa ya ho den tawmachi no muntimi nya hwehwemu ye amu ye hwehwemu ya ebeboa obia o wa asemi wa udi for wa udi bim ebetimi ehu afei Galamsey ebetimi aboa ama ya so ano se yenya yenim bonia Galamsey edi oman yensuo ene yen sase ne yen kwaye bonia Galamsey aye chese mobo enti yen hwehwemu ye ne yen hwe baabi a ye wo sesei especially when your president say Galamsey dear or the nim dear na ho odin ya beto de akonti ya Galamsey so be lose elections crap enya hwe Ndiemboa president with a thorough going investigation. Sen ansem no cry kono. Me ntimi hu if the police it should stop. The police will be the best agency now. But you are fair amount.
Matisse Parliament in Machibija Fubi Swedi or Manuatum, Ura John Jinapo, Edna Natum, so Munya Cranka Machibijum, Minority Leader Kisiala to force and so the Natum say, in Kebia Machibijum Crown and in yet Commission of Enquiry. Na Yenshim, na Menyan TSA, Member of Parliament also, Ujinaho, South Dai, Roxy Nelson Dapamakpo. And so at the charge, what your petition I come at charge. Say him. Is that the right way to go?
Now there I see police for him.
Until maybe say police for him a petition charge. Yeah. If a parliament for so why not really?
Until if you no cry no fishing them. If they na message say what they see police for him. You trust to police for. Current IGP yenya him say or the and what them for about the police adjument. Dear man a chance. No more ship. Na yeah monpa yes yenya media especially. Monfa mo ho de nta o mechi. Parliament monfa MPs no form ho de nta o mechi. Se na beya the CID on beye juma papa. Ashe o manga say no nyam. Ashe o man no nyam. Na se say na ye de ashe CID nsemi. Now cancer parliament in so your investigation. Now fish rag in so your investigation. And untinu and nipane abomu di no fish raga no call parliament. No about CID. No and also mboa. Enti nipani ya parliament. Shrag. Obia owosa semi hu nimdia kakra no peso boa. Yemfa hu di ni ntai. Police CID. Especially the media. It's in a beya on beyo me juma ye. Na ye hu and quarry was as him. Because I'm a medical cano. A nipane mo abobo mudin was out. It's in their own interest that a thorough investigation is done. It's in a beya cancer prophecy way, na ways we are way, na way. And in the emboa because the matter will be there forever. If we don't get to the truth. Until I see statement here from Jubilee na ninya yemfantunche na yenya entire police for that you know when investigation. Kwame maybe.
Nana ye answer na a question about so maybe sana na akumi asemba akope. Oka say yenta president chi media enter police chi. One question, how did you get here? Eba na say Dede BBB ye Operation Vanguard na soldier for near up and down na ministers ye nan president come MPP mwa ben mo say 2020 elections it started the fight against Galamsey Timulu see all the Galamsey areas kunya na wo musem ni ade. How did we get here?
Kwame.
Yes sir.
That question will be answered by a thorough investigation.
Yeah. That question will be answered by a thorough investigation. Kwame, Charles Bissiu accused Professor Frimpong Boateng of several wrongdoing and hinted of existing police and NIB investigations before Prof's report dropped off in social media. Why has the media ignored Charles Bissiu's but are getting headlines from Profs? Akwesi Champo in Maryland. No idea. And then... why can the president charge the special prosecutor charge to handle it instead of the CID? We don't want any clearing agents, jacks in Tardi. Our society has an elite, and the elite try to stay in power. They do this by controlling the way we think, and what really matters is what is left unsaid. Nana ACP Pokwase. Professor Frimpong Boateng is behaving like a wounded lion. He sees his failure at the ministry and as the chairman of the interministerial committee. He's okay. After I this go down, I'll leave it here. No name calling. Why? Just go straight to the point. I totally support what Anakumia is saying. We'll plead with the president that a massive investigation should be done and Konma Foster. Audacious chairman, the fact that someone has given his or her opinion about a case doesn't stop investigations by the police. Making holes in a boat does not make you have a smooth sail. Audacious Ajabing in her show. Is it that our chiefs no more wield traditional authority over their lands? No political power can stop the Galamsey menace if our chiefs don't exert their power over their own lands. It is clear that our chiefs have been compromised in this enterprise, and that is worrying. Kwesi Reynolds in Agona Odobing. Whether Professor Frimpong Boateng mentioned his son's name or not is neither here or there. Not there. The most important thing is for the president to deal with the meat of the issue. Those mentioned, if really are involved, must be dealt with dispassionately. Gasti man in Brekum. I agree with Kwesi Pratt that the letter from the presidency is questionable. It's as if the presidency has already taken a stand in debunking the content of Professor Frimpong Boateng's letter. Charles Bisu has granted lots of interviews before and after this letter came onto the public domain, mentioning names. Therefore, there's an item of truth in the allegations. O'Neill and Ponsa in Amsterdam. I read Professor Frimpong Boateng's report last week and it was good. I, however, don't understand how a call from Gabi represents an involvement in Galamsey. Even murderers have lawyers to represent them in court. Professor Frimpong Boateng appears better. Dr. Atuedu Evans, Georgia, that is in the US of A. And then moving on, Nana Kumia didn't mention Kweku Baako, but Kweku Baako has also responded. Well, yes, Gastiman, he has. And then very last one. Chairman General, in the case of Galamsey, the landlord is a thief. The caretaker is a thief. The watchman is also a thief. So who watches who? Ofori Dakwa, Boston, USA. Since that one. Thief. Nana Siama the first says, with the report of Professor Frimpong Boateng involving these politicians, I'd wish that my colleague chiefs and the people of our community should rise up against Galamsey to defend their own forest and water bodies. See how chairman and secretary to the committee are accusing each other. Chia, how can they solve our problems? Traditional way can help if some of my colleague chiefs are honest and firm. Nane Siama the first, the colleague chiefs are hinfuno. Question Pachona Obem.
Masa. Pacho, conclusions ni bi ayeba no hamikaka.
Question Pacho Manisuka Krebi Mami.
Oh, sorry, Master.
Yeah.
Pacho.
Yeah, Pacho you.
Conclusions na ayeba ni bi ho hamikaka. Yesha se no. Professor Frimpong Boateng. Also no nafe. Mpanimfo wa ban mu eka ho. Mpanimfo yi bisu ba bonti ni omo kan se o yanka ho na bo Professor Boateng ka ho. Ana me bo.
Empacho en moya menye nyina no. Obi anka se onka na Professor Boateng ka ho.
Hey, omo ka se di basu ka ho no wonte.
Debbie, but no maintain what any respondent biano.
Master, it is in the newspaper.
Yes, but who said it?
Whatever it is, the counter allegations also confirms that something is wrong.
Yes.
Enti, semi etibiano, pamlotrano, nkwanchan strodo. Semi etibiano, something is wrong.
Very.
Na pacho. The one crata back with that many, the anchor. The anchor. Crata far too soon, yes,
what's it then?
Wounded Frimpong Boateng strikes again, but fails to mention son's involvement in Galamsey menace. Then there's so many about letter be a dated. Kwame Pachoti.
Meet you a dated.
Dated 20th November 2014. So I let her know the engine as well.
Abanebano.
Meanwhile, no, 20th November 2014, we're not MPP near them.
There.
It's enough, Professor Frimpong Boateng, Ombeye, chairman of the Interministerial Committee. So I let her and on the other 12 thing. Now, Kwame Pachoti, let her know Kakra.
Meet you.
Letter is addressed to the Chief Executive Officer Minerals Commission, Accra. Also, dear sir, application to take 2 of 5 concession lots. I represent Symphony Limited. Our company has 5 concession lots in the Japekrom area of the Brong-Ahafo region. Symphony is facing a few challenges, the most prominent being the withdrawal of 2 partners from our operations due to the prevailing global economic difficulties. Because of this and other reasons, we are compelled to shut off 3 of our concessions. We intend to maintain only the Babiara and Adomiso concessions. The ones we are releasing to the Minerals Commission are the Jape Chrome, Imienim, and Asiri lots. On behalf of Symphony Limited, I humbly requested that you effect the necessary changes. I hope this request would meet your kindest consideration. I'm available for further discussions if necessary. I thank you for your kind assistance. Yours faithfully, K. Frimpong Boating, Director, Symphony Limited. And so on. Master, and away proof of Galamsey.
But have they said that it is proof?
Eh?
Or Maka said, we ain't no Galamsey, Anna.
Kwame can crack and so much of a story.
I'm not sure.
Almost see, or no
one I cancer. A newspaper reporter.
A newspaper report. They are making a newspaper report. But apart from this newspaper reporting, so what to say? Almost see the basuka home.
But Kwesi, meantime, there's a specific person.
I do have a specific person.
Kwesi, let's be fair. Who say almost say? I'm saying why say?
There's a newspaper in front of me.
Okay.
The anchor. Enuni.
No,
page 3 of the anchor.
No, okay, Kwesi,
Frimpong Boating strikes again, but fails to mention San's involvement in Galamsey. Men, this is an allegation. This is the letter backing the allegation.
Kwesi, who can't first? Near can say be how can about any panel involved. And that is now about.
So there's an allegation against Frimpong Boating.
Yes,
there's proof. Yes. Something
by newspaper. But who can we say it doesn't mean say Oye Galamsey?
Exactly, but that's the point I'm making. So there's nothing in this letter who suggests that Professor Frimpong Boating Bano Oye Galamsey. Indeed, what is clear, and so we are confusing Galamsey with legal small-scale mining. Because it's obvious that have 5 concessions. It was given by Minerals Commission.
Yeah.
Now, what is even more obvious, they say, after 5 concessions, one more signed the 3 Minerals Commission. Say, how is this proof of Professor Frimpong Boating's involvement in Galamsey? Mintiase. Entiasema ba no bia too bigu mu keke. Because Sakrata we pa there is not any proof of the involvement of Professor Boating's son, Frimpong Boating's son in Galamsey. Yantontwini ehun ni faso bia wa ha. Masa, me can say we are obviously Sakrata na a free Flagstaff House by and run. It clearly compromises police investigations into the affair. Clear. After Sakrata a free Flagstaff House by, the Criminal Investigations Department of the police can no longer continue to investigate the matter. It has been compromised, its report has been prejudiced, and it is a dead end.
And who should do it?
Tobo Masa Mekaba.
Me too.
Many na kumia dream pa. Many ya dream papa say some investigation there necessary say cost. Na yenhwe na many ya dream say Inspector General of Police wo ya nyan. Am say what try bibi kakra. Yenia dampare a kire say aduma no onyakobe na wonya yes man sa. Yahusa, but it is not enough to guarantee say police CID koya duma report de benyanebe kronje. It is not enough. First of all, police investigations ye nim senior police tie ye nua ACP Agozo ni wo mo keka ho ye nua Kofi Boache kasa about the police structure and how the police is struggling to assert its independence. Police for now abe catch on them channel. Until honey there, Minjin to say police for the investigations. A bit more as a strategy for investigation. Yes, strategy investigations be Ghana. Yeah, who feel be our home. Strategy investigations for Ghana ha. Omo wa bemu who can. Investigations for Ghana ha. Omo opposition who can ya be. It may be strategy. But media minyayanka in Fanko Parliament. Yes, a Parliament one I saw above for the whole. Say who no ma baku mi no bi Parliament wa. And so my sheki kakra.
One you need to call Parliament be political. Ye de be amanyosem.
Masa, but
na asem na kasa ira.
Oh, Masa, not always. SASIA Electoral Commission they call Parliament. Nanseyara. So we got a unanimous decision from Parliament. And quiet parties. There have been a few reports from Parliament. Not a haunting. It's immediate minyaya ka some way party. Ka yen fan call Parliament, not Parliament in coalition. We may not get a perfect report, but I'm more confident in Parliament as an institution than all the other institutions which have been mentioned.
Than the police, than church.
Oh, Master Police, there's a there. Say, Flagstaff House and control secretary here, or more control here. Kebia, ka police for between. But after this presidency, I say some no crab be now police officer be na work Ghana. Obeyi na nimpa say the president ka na no ababi ani. When the be said man. Eti media yan fan ko parliament, yan kana asem nsi. Sisi a mi mbu obi afọ. Mintumi ninja so bia mi di ko bu obi afọ. Yan hwehwem na nokra ni nadi. Na nokra ni dadi a ina dia ya dwuma. Sa etimi akame na ekoso no masa. Sometimes no entuko bi be sigidi gidi badwin se bibi. Very hwemu no na etimi akam. Na ekoso. Na wenu ensam no ye ensam a emu oduyi. So we hear ohawa illegal mining de brega na mine. Nipa wo movu. Masa nipa wo movu. Na some kitwa. People who died in open pits. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Papa Bia is who called the food. Say Galamsey for Kotutu, a form of onim pine, wawu, or cotom no more. Oh, them channel. Nam, ye sutria, asayma, yena, and Namu, a sutrin, a woo. Massa, environmental degradation. Galamsey a D in your papa. It is in some way in our bed, media, it is most unfortunate, say Flagstaff House issue statement, your issue. I want so many million and I could dream perfectly. As some number, or the one crater will be a can be. Sir, Flagstaff House bear statement to be. The statement should simply have said, say, oh, we have taken note of the controversy in the media and so on. The presidency is still committed to the fight against Galamsey. We want to make sure that this country is rid of Galamsey and all its menace and so on. Then, there are some CID before Shishum. Until we are waiting the report of the CID for the presidency to take further action. Simple and short. Tetia. Can we controversy be a maybe? Can Tijuana police file your own investigation? Omo the report number. Omo the report number. Professor Fimpom Boati di tu mo bedi atum. Onjin tumu onjin tum. Sekodi opon kuma bedi atum. Onjin tumu onjin tum. Na yen so a ye Ghana mano. Yen so ye Ghana mano. Yesu ya kan bi yesu ya che ya bi. Finish. Na die asamu ba ye gusu ka ye investigation ye wie. Peace FM. Na sa wo twu pen pa ni nim yo ko twu ni pen die. Na twu pen pa na ko yes statement ya. Alabraka. At the onset, it must be pointed out that the document being discussed was not an official report formally delivered to the office of the president. On the contrary, it can only be rightly referred to as a catalog of personal grievances and claims made by Professor Fimpom Boati intended to respond to some issues he faced as chairperson of the IMCIM. Now control we are so prejudicial. Now opening the atro be breo ma o can say this statement doesn't matter. Now, the expression of the views of somebody and so on. This is not somebody. This is the Flagstaff House.
When the signs are...
There's no signature.
There's no sign.
There's no signature. Kwame, this is the Flagstaff House.
And Pacho School Kola Mutie presidency organ a friend Jubilee House. 80 Sekwesi Pratt say a friend Flagstaff House anyere but Pacho Kotron social ne bisa say we seat of government officially then Pacho a Jubilee House until say presidency Babeka say asese din e din officially they are to a Jubilee House. So you school near Kola and Pacho Sheno so. Kwesi Pacho to aso. Mama Oba.
You should use the appropriate name.
Mama Oba. It is not Flagstaff.
Is it the first
The
time
appropriate name is Jubilee House.
Kwame, me Pacho.
Me too.
I ran near friend of Flagstaff House. They insisted on calling it Jubilee House.
And Pacho, the first Nana and Pacho Edina a Flagstaff House.
Yes.
President Kufuor Breso and the renovation and the CSC ho. At that President Kufuor Biano no ono tuni din Jubilee House. President Kufuor Fiabem NDC by and almost a friend of Flagstaff House. So I'm on premier friend of Jubilee. 80 whatever it is.
Professor Mills buy all to Flagstaff House. Said they will not recognize.
Why am I crazy?
Because at the end of the day
they were still calling it Jubilee House.
Because into say it's also friend of Flagstaff House.
No, they miss Flagstaff House number 2.
Yo, Pacho, say President Mills Besesano, any friend of Flagstaff House. Say Nanado no ho or see a Jubilee House. Into a Jubilee House. Say
the Jubilee House man.
About the Flagstaff House man. Now President Kufuor no says you whole your friend of Jubilee House and in found.
Kwame, who was on the question?
Me from question. Una who question say President Mills be to.
There was a time one. They refused to call President Rawlings president.
It is so we should keep going back.
I'm not keeping going back.
Sir, whether you like it or not, Rawlings became president of this country. Into what because you will not call him that. And what was him?
This is another issue. So person will be no ban.
Debbie, what are they buy? Enyam na me de buy, na de buy.
What now I na sem?
Me.
Because me that be friend of Flagstaff House will be entity. Me say entity.
Question me entity.
Question is not right.
Me entity.
What is not right?
Me say school near Kolebia tie enne. Na ye bisa ne say the seat of presidency at there. Mpane chow onka say Jubilee House. And no happen maka.
Okay.
And I said question now ye misinform school for me too.
And I maka men can she biom
misinformation and they call misinformation in one Kwame.
Misinformation now
school textbooks and you chose.
Men can school textbooks. Make about Jubilee House.
Yeah, can't Jubilee House.
Me all your disinformation and me na me disinformation. And I almost trust that textbooks in the disinformation.
But because a ban of Jubilee House there, oh yeah, misinformation.
Okay.
Equia to am payment to Equia Pim says. Pacho we.
Okay, what the question?
Equia to am payment to Equia Pim says, Chairman General, good morning, my brother. Considering Professor Frimpong Boateng and his family's own involvement in mining, I would argue that he should have declined the chair of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Mining. Assuming he found something illegal about the operations of his company, of his son's company, would he have included it in the report? Equia to Ampim is asking.
No, but there's another question to ask.
Yes.
Yes, he could have declined the appointment.
The
people who appointed him could also have taken steps not to make him the chairman.
Yeah, that's true.
In both ways.
Mere allegations does not make anybody guilty. I would have wished there was some corroborating evidence in the public domain. Alleging wrongdoing without accompanying evidence, no matter how flimsy it is, can be very damaging and unfair to those who are being accused. Professor Frimpong Boateng, as a former chairman, is in a unique position to put some meat on his allegations to make it strong. As it is, only a thorough investigation could very much clarify this issue. It is too
thorough public investigation.
Meanwhile, natural justice confessed not guilty.
Investigation. Open investigation.
Until our parliament.
No secret investigation. Open investigation. Who can't be now we should can be near Tiho, near T, near body television, so near body radio, so near trouble the Uboncratanum. A honey be who no crano. Nani I could dear. A labraca.
Peace 104.3 yeah twa yeah Jumedian so and then let's see. Kwame, the NDC MPs want multiple investigations. This report isn't talking about anything new, but what existed when Professor Frimpong Boateng was a minister. I remember clearly the new moves by the Honorable Lands Minister and the Defense Minister in finding a solution to this canker. Please, NDC should not play to the gallery. Musa Abattoir in Aswansi says the back and forth regarding Professor Frimpong Boateng and Jubilee House are not the solution to the fight against Galamsey, but commitment to prosecute those involved in Anas Galamsey fraud documentary and Erastus Asai Donko by the government is most important. If you use sloganeering to fight Galamsey, river pollutions will expose you. And then this one says, we are in for more surprises and confusion. As a nation, we must be in agreement as to who should investigate this matter. Parliament wants a committee. Jubilee says police. Others want charge. What will happen if police exonerates any of the accused and charge finds the person guilty? Where do we go from there? Sunshine sends me something about Flagstaff House, Jubilee House. Okay, Sunshine. You go to Google and Politics of Ghana. It says the seat of government is the Golden Jubilee House. Okay, I hear you. I know for a fact. Let me say, Jubilee Flagstaff House, if you colonial era, let's be also add that meaning. Say Osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah opted to retain the name Flagstaff House after independence. And then another matter for another day. But anyway, we move. And then Jubilee House has been gazetted. I don't know. Obinya Queen Madina, find out if Parliament has gazetted the name Jubilee House, then we just leave it there. If we should listen to what Charles BC has been saying all this while, we'll realize the truth or proof of the pudding is in the eating. There should be a thorough investigation devoid of any interference. Afai Tadisco down exactly what Chrissy Pratt was talking about. Therefore, he says it should be public. And he prefers a parliamentary inquiry. And then we move on beyond that. Nana Kumia also in charge. Anna.
Me, oh, Debbie. Sir, I don't know. Yeah, that's a Joanna police phone sent that. Say, in fan show, mon send that they are. But they are sure mon send the day. How do you go and take it away from them?
Oh, very easy.
How?
Double jeopardy, the principle of double jeopardy, and other principles. Senior Wawukai.
And how do you take it away from them?
If Parliament starts an investigation, the police can be told to stop the
By
investigation.
who? By Parliament?
By the people who refer the matter to the police in the first place. If Parliament is investigating it, let Parliament investigate
yes,
it.
But say,
you cannot have multiple investigations of the same issue at the same time.
Said they are candidate.
Yeah.
But I'm just a police for you, Mejume. That's a Parliament cost that here. Then this Parliament who has caused double jeopardy.
So, Sisi, what do we do?
So we leave the police and support them.
But we see.
Because that's not fair.
Yeah, but that is true.
This is the
after this statement from Flagstaff House.
Kwesi,
after this statement from Flagstaff House.
Kwesi, me matra Parliament.
Yes, sir.
Open such as a report to be a free Parliament now. You'll be agitu.
Yeah.
So you let's give the police the chance. And let them do the work. So my money, but I take that. That's your job.
Investigation in view of the facts the Parliament has started. You feel say the investigation process has been.
But Parliament hasn't started an investigation.
The same work, the same issue.
Hey, Parliament need police. Why no to me?
Huh?
Parliament need police. Why no to me?
And then police for
Parliament can decide to investigate the matter which is before the police.
They can.
Yes.
But don't go then you have caused double jeopardy.
Well.
Yeah,
and then of course Shrag 2 says that they are investigating. Because I'm so many petition.
Oh, if Parliament is investigating, I don't see how.
But because you don't believe we say CID will have the capacity to do a public inquiry.
Master, me Adamuha, my Babeka said, Ghana police for material I wo and a material war retirement in Adena. And that material kitwa Wami. Where a bra you couldn't so you know Ashama. Look at how many days it took for the police to conclude their investigations. First class professional work. Nya no pen. You're penning back David Asante Pipi.
Yeah.
David Amikan Demha. He's one of the world acclaimed, the friend is saying,
criminal experts
and so on. Kofi Boachi and so on. The current IGP, Alassane and so on. Brilliant police officers are. Say they will do wonders. Unfortunately, no politicians now which is also a fact. The politicians keep interfering with their work. And he said, and yet let a free flag staff house by here. Can need assembly account police investigation. Now Sakrata will power a free flag staff house about. It has compromised the investigation.
I see. Well.
Na kwezi.
I received.
Kwa mebisa kwezi asi. Sa lete. I did say a compromise investigation.
Oman penny no so shusha asem no. Onu anaso ye asem no ababi ani.
Okay, Mati. Na say meba kwezi Mati me no be that kwezi
mpacho 1 minute. Sisi anu suppose for ba. That's one beka say oh asem no ehwe mu na ba wo mu a. It becomes a direct confrontation between the police and the president.
Mati.
You understand?
Mati.
Which is an untenable position.
Kwesi Mati. Maybe say question why you man. I mean say ankoso. Say parliament. There will be members of parliament on the committee who are in the president's party.
Yeah.
How would this letter affect them?
Oh, Master, the history of Ghana's parliament, Nana Kumia wouldn't name chairman.
Chairman.
Throughout the history of even this parliament, there have been people, members of parliament who have shown say they are more loyal to country than to their parties.
And you don't have policemen who have shown that they can be loyal to their profession than to anybody.
No, I'm not saying that. But a policeman who confronts the presidency can be dismissed. A member of parliament who disagrees with the president cannot be dismissed.
Now,
that's
when he goes to, it's not a difference. When he goes
this year, he disagreed with the president on many occasions. What happened to him? He served his term.
But you can mention many police officers who have also disagreed with official positions.
Baba Kuchemi.
Unimbi.
Minimbi. Yeah, minimum. You stand in trial.
Apietu ya aboni di. Apietu. When he was doing the investigations of the women murders. Yes. What was the conclusion of his work?
What was his conclusion? Who disagreed with the position of government?
Enuntirutie. When he says Prof has accused both sides. NDC and PP.
Give me a pen, please.
Of Sargalam saying. He's accused both sides. He's accused members of parliament. He's accused. There's also a possibility it's a co-parliament. They will just turn it into partisan football.
No,
but you see, public inquiry. So crazy me.
The CID does not conduct its investigations in full public glare.
Why can't they do it?
I've never heard it before. Have you heard it before? The CID has never conducted any investigations in full public glare. Parliament, when it conducts investigations, it will be in full public glare.
But that's the advantage of Parliament. Said there was a time Supreme Court didn't conduct trials in television cameras. But they started. And I'm going to say, let's support the police. Suggestions like this that can help their work. So these are the kind of suggestions we should make and push. Because Supreme Court, there was a suggestion and it was pushed. The moment a particular TV so. And it happened. It is happening like twice. And this is the kind of suggestions that all of us to support the police. I don't hear police first see did. See any police first see what they are. Then we can think of the other alternative. Someone should shame. The matter has been referred to them. And I'm sure they are doing their investigations. In the Yamboa, with suggestions, with input, no munye juma ebefata.
Peace 104.3, and this issue may be said about Gazette. I think it settles it. We're done. You may decide on a DRB seat of government, but apparently Gazette Dampa.
Kwesi
nyaw konso. Anya konso. Kwesi mi nyaw konso. Kwesi mi nyaw konso.
Kwame chair official position so there.
It's not about you. Mi nyaw konso.
Na friends.
Accra International Airport.
Well, so when you say no so emra nti almost that's friend Kotuka. Em wan say parliament nti Mrs. Asambra no.
And also yachimi.
Okay, so be ancho. Yes, we live and let.
Maybe Accra International Airport.
Interestingly,
a Flagstaff house. Many problem.
Thursday, 29th March 2018. And Gazette Ebetoja. I didn't know until today. Na mini say Gazette. Thursday, 29th March 2018. Interesting. That was President Kufuor's birthday. I don't know if it was his birthday present.
After 2024, so no man penny. 2025, January.
No now can.
No man penny from a Bolswinga birthday. No problem.
Quite an interesting about the name. But the very last paragraph says, "Now therefore, in exercise of the power conferred on the President under Article 58 of the Constitution, I, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic, give notice that the seat of the presidency of Ghana shall hereafter be named, known, and referred to as Jubilee House, and the property known as Flagstaff House, located on the premises of Jubilee House, shall be preserved and commemorated as such. Given under my hand this 29th day of March 2018, Gazette talks about say President Kufuor and the renovation being the Jubilee House, Kokrokoo Baya, Dr. Nkrumah Wabuni Dinwaha, back and forth. Okay, so it says Flagstaff House is a separate property located on the premises. But as Kwesi Pratt said, maybe the next president will come and say, okay, Mr. Masasano. Anyway, we'll just keep going back and forth. Yes, and I'll
well, I've been doing this, that's the intention of Kwesi Ayenya. But at one point, I see a share have a clean debate that will not turn the seat of government into political football.
Well, that's what it seems now.
Yeah, but we should be looking at a debate that will settle the matter and have a name. It will not be subject to political football. At the moment, it's not Kwesi Ken. If there's a new government,
there's an NDC government.
There's an NDC government. Now, other CPP don't form on.
Oh, say I mean, let's be honest.
Marty.
So,
they just become new, which is to leave it open for everybody. But if there's an NDC government to follow footsteps now, they will change it. All kinds of
petty.
We should have some national consensus on this matter.
It's just pettiness now. But say national consensus. If we stop being petty, that's all. This is the name we just take.
And at what point did the pettiness come in?
Wherever
First change or second change or
change. Wherever you want to put it. Wherever. Kwame, talking about Parliament and a report, remember that remember the cash for seat. It was disputed by the minority members of Parliament. They wrote a minority report. Do you remember? Yeah. So back to the issue of Parliament. Anyway, Mr. Russell Kofi Banful, aka Kofi, aka Don Chichi, happy birthday to you. Have a lovely birthday, great celebration. Kofi, keep going. That wicked word galamsey is a taboo, an abomination and a curse on the nation. We must therefore support President Akufo-Addo to uproot the canker. Kondesbedu Seshi Asafo. Kondesbedu. Question is, omo sombuano, omo na yede fori omo se, omo emu no, omo bon. So what do we do? Closing comments, Kwesi. Yempom. Any comment?
Master Kwame Pacho, minia sembia.
Me dasi. Crazy. Kwame, remember that the whole project was to commemorate our 50th anniversary as a country, and that is why President Kufuor named the Jubilee House. It has a meaning. Mills, I leave it there. Is it not interesting that when an Nkrumah's party was in power during the Third Republic, they did not deem it fit to change the name of our international airport, which has continued to bear the name Kotoka, Abeku in Lashibi? Well, interestingly, Abeku, Kaka Mihuni said,
maybe there was no Nkrumah's party in power.
Liman, that's what he was talking about.
Go into Liman's history and see history.
Not his history. The PNP came as representing the CPP. You know that
so
too.
Perhaps we are learning say tax. Tax don't tell the full story.
Well,
Oche Lima party na Nkrumah's party.
PNP. As far as we're concerned, PNP was.
And some people.
Kwesi pa. I don't go na SCP.
And some people.
Now, so what's that?
My name is PNP na Nkrumah's party.
Who knew that man contested elections on the ticket of the opposition to Nkrumah before? Who knew?
So he defected.
Also, he contested elections on what?
On the ticket of the opposition to Nkrumah.
But he defected.
When?
Earlier. Go and check.
But Liman as an individual, the party that came for him is an Nkrumah's party, the PNP.
No, I'm not ready to start that debate here.
Debate to be any.
Well, interesting. But there are people in the NDC who came from the CPP. There are people in the MPP who came from the NDC, from the CPPT. And they said, well, for me.
Your man penny. And Okodom MPP and the BBR Danny Dobo.
Now Kwame Nkrumah himself, no free party by.
Obayoko UGCC.
UGCC.
I know break here away.
UGCC in Yedomo.
Whatever it is, Oko UGCC.
We are free party, we don't call party. Oh, now Obianka Domo.
Obianka Domo, now Okadomo.
Oka party will be different.
Question Okadomo, Obianka Domo.
He was in one party and he left.
He left the
UGCC.
World view of people, of parties and so on. I'm not talking about why. UGCC is NPP.
But nobody has said that though.
And they inquired him.
But Nkrumah left UGCC and formed the CPP.
Who can deny that?
Exactly my point.
But it doesn't fit into this argument.
Then what does? Because you see, Liman contested something against Nkrumah and later became.
At the time we got the division between Domo and the CPP, it was political, ideological differences. Clear ideological differences. At the American. So that's the context within which I'm raising that issue.
Unapologetically black is what Kwesi Pratt is wearing today. Chairman General, good morning. Is the seat of government named based on the land or the buildings? Did President Kufuor not build new buildings? If it is based on the buildings, why is Mr. Pratt and the NDC still calling Flagstaff House or say Achampong in Accra? And then can we have some quick education, please, Kwame? President Kufuor renamed the seat of government as Jubilee House to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Ghana's independence. Well, yes. Can Kwesi Pratt educate us what the origin and meaning of Flagstaff House is? As far as I know, Flagstaff House is a military something. Anyway, we'll find out. From the colonial era, well, it's not for me, but we'll have to find out. And then, but when him say na ohona na West Africa Frontier Force, so command post was Flagstaff House. I hope I got it correct. I don't know if Kwesi, you know the history of that place.
No, I know.
Am I right?
Yeah.
West Africa Frontier Force command post. Okay, all right. We can't trust our police to stand firm in their position. We can't trust our parliament to be non-partisan and non-political about a national issue. We can't be culturally mature about the name of the seat of government. What kind of country are we? Nana Fredia, well, we are the country Ghana. Ghana. That is who we are. National Theatre Board chair. Yeah. Oh, now we're bombing.
What to bomb?
There you to bomb. Yeah.
Definition. Another Casado be married. Definition of bomb.
Oh, I see. We can't trust our police to stand firm in their position. We can't trust our parliament to be non-partisan and non-political about the national issue. We can't be culturally mature about the name of the seat of government. Hey, Ghana. Hey,
Ghana.
Okay, 80 Dr. Hilali Man, 1954 elections, he was an independent candidate. Is that what you're referring to? And a party referred to? Okay. Okay.
And other circumstances.
Okay.
Which I'm not ready to discuss today.
Okay.
He contested against the CPP.
As an independent candidate. Okay. But that was 54.
54.
54.
54.
Yeah.
How is that?
How is that saying?
Now, Kwame,
yeah.
I mean, those days near Susa, secondary school. But Kwame Liman will be the president with the eye.
40.
Check.
45.
Check. No,
yeah, so how come he stood as independent candidate in 54? How old was he then?
Kwame,
check it day.
Uh-huh.
1979.
Are you denying the fact that he contested elections before he became...
What's 54? He contested against the CPP.
Check here now.
Yes,
I know that is true.
But if he contested against the CPP, then it must have been in the 60s.
No, not in the 60s.
Okay.
The records show 54.
Now, 54 no idea.
So, Nana, the issue you are raising...
He was born in 34. So 54 makes him 20 years old.
He was born in 1934.
12 December 1934.
Now I'm still 45 at 1979.
So 34, 44, 54, 64, 74. So he was 40 in 1974. So he was 45 in 81. Or thereabouts. Born in Golu, December 12, 34. Education, London School of Economics, University of London, Sorbonne, Tamale Senior High School. I haven't seen anything here about the 54 though. But anyway. Okay. We'll leave it there for now. And he died at age 64. There must be something about 4. Born in 34, died at 64. In 1998, Mekaipa, Namiti Radio Sanopa Ewokolebu. Very sad story. Very, very sad story. Dr. Hilali Man, may he continue to find rest. Nana, any closing comments? We're done. Apart from Jubilee Flagstaff House. That's a nice name, Jubilee Flagstaff House. Nana Yampo now.
Oh, grab me, Yampo.
Mate, Kwesi, we're done? Oh, Debbie. Now say we in common need. Kwesi? Kwesi Prati. Minya penny Kwesi. I dare for you, Kwesi. Peace 104.3 million. That's Yebema Kwesi Pratt and Ope Nina Daje Nana Akomia Nina Daje any more teacher whether it's your radio, your computer, is it your laptop, your mobile phone, you're listening in your car, in your office, in the hospital, on the move, wherever it is. I'm with you, Kokrokoo and Ope Damasi. Semunya Daje. Then we're feeding to Peace 104.3.
Peace FM 104.3.